What I was seeing and hearing in the United States in the 70s and the 80s, two systems were being formed. They both came from the same source, Lamaze and Bradley. Very first childbirth preparation classes taught, entirely skills-based. The two systems split apart. The one system, which has led to today, started off with focusing on a group of women, low risk, with 3 perceived goals, which we've talked about: natural birth, pain-free labor without medical care. Whereas that same skills-based system, Lamaze and Bradley, had produced the ability for any woman in any birth to use those skills to cope better. And if they had a partner who is a skilled birth coach, that birth coach worked effectively with them. I could see those two systems beginning to form. And as I said, I went out on behalf of the families that I worked with to articulate the importance of skills for all births, and with the goal that women felt more in control. That was in the 1970s. I just want you to keep in mind that these two systems were forming at the same time, but they had different words. The one system, the words that were put into place was that low-risk women. The other system was 100% of pregnant women. The first system, the actions were to learn skills. The other system was the actions were to learn skills. The first system, to low-risk women, take a class, learn skills, the goals and results that were desired was that low-risk birth, pain-free labor with no medical care. In the other system, where it was for all birthing women, learn skills, you can cope better and that you can manage the labor better. At that time in the 70s and the beginning 80s, as I said, there were lay midwives in the United States. I was beginning to travel internationally to speak at conferences. I had an opportunity to talk to hundreds and hundreds of lay midwives or radical midwives in the UK or home birth midwives, either working within the system but slightly outside the system, or there was no system like in the United States. Every state had its own rules and regulations. What I heard from all of them, without exception, was that they all felt stressed politically, which is what I've continued to hear, and they were all exhausted. All the way back then. What was curious was that the labor and delivery nurses in the U.S. and the obstetricians were refreshed by working with skilled families, even in that very constrictive environment, whereas midwives who were giving continuity of care and this undefined partnership at that point and attending home births were absolutely exhausted. Even back in the 70s, there was little emphasis on women who were birthing at home to become skilled. The lay midwives and the midwives working sort of quasi in and out of the system in other countries were charging per birth. They weren't being paid by the government or an insurance company. And they usually only did 10, at the most 15 births a year. And they were already exhausted. And what did they complain about? They complained about their health, not being able to spend time with their family, and not having any time for themselves. When I talked to consumers, the women who use these midwives, the women loved all the attention, and midwives loved caring for women, even with these issues, the political issue and not having time for anything else but doing that. I could see back then, particularly in the late 70s and the 80s, as things changed, that were we to have a partnership model in maternity care, that it absolutely had to be based on 3 roles: the care provider, the delivery of service, the birthing woman, and the person closest to her who is going to be at the birth. That all of those 3 people had a role, a job, and a task at hand that was distinctly different, yet coming together at birth. And so Birthing Better Families worked on the 2 roles, the birthing woman and the birth coach. We continued to develop and refine the skills to work better together. In the 1980s, as the choice-based childbirth trend took hold, I did find it incredibly discouraging that skills were being dismissed, even for low-risk women.